We've had Juno in the game for near enough a full season now, and whilst it might not look like it from the gameplay in the background, I just kind of fancied a break from playing her. I've transitioned from a Lucio main into a Juno main. I'm sorry brothers, I've betrayed you. But I have my reasons which I will explain in this video because I thought it would be interesting to kind of break down how much of an impact Juno has had on the meta and why. I'll get into it in a minute, but first I'm going to ask you to subscribe and leave a like on this video, as I want to continue making Overwatch 2 related content that's not only entertaining, but educational too. Also, thank you so much for 800 subscribers. I said this in a post earlier this week, but going from 700 to 800 in around a month is huge growth for me, and I can't thank you guys enough. 800 seems like nothing, but it really isn't because it means I'm a step closer to the second smaller milestone, 1,000 subscribers. I won't go on about that though, we've got a character to discuss. To understand how much of an impact Juno's had on the meta, we need to look at the meta towards the end of Season 11. D.Va was absolutely dominating the ladder because of her change to defense matrix on top of her already insane amount of armor, making her super difficult to kill even when playing counters. This in turn meant that the meta was mostly just the dive comp but with D.Va instead of Winston. This didn't change once Juno was introduced, especially in the first half of the season before we saw a nerf to armor and D.Va was quote unquote fixed. I'll get back to that. She's made the dive comp 100 times more aggressive. And most people will blame it purely on her hyper ring because it means the entire team can go in and push a lot faster. But her homing torpedoes mixed with infinite high ground from her boosters means guaranteed value because she's always got an angle on the enemies, meaning she can deal damage with torpedoes and potentially heal at the same time if it locks onto a teammate. It also allows her to make a bunch of calls. If she can see everything, then why not communicate it to the rest of the team? Her entire playstyle is get me in there, but because of her range, she can easily find value way in the backline, making her one of the most versatile supports in the game. This is why she pairs so well with D.Va, regardless of the changes to her armor and defense matrix. Unlike Lucio, who has to play right next to his teammates to heal, Juno can play wherever she wants, taking a bit more of a passive approach, which is why when she first came out, people were calling her a mix of Lucio and Ana. TLDR, saying she's had a massive impact on the meta is like saying the sun is hot. Like, doy, it doesn't take a genius to figure that one out. Now, will Juno remain in the meta in future seasons? Yes, without a doubt. I've talked about how good she is in dive comps and how versatile she is, but because of that versatility, it makes her a viable pick in pretty much any team comp, not just dive. She can do really good healing and damage from range in a poke comp with Sigma, and she works really well with Reinhardt in a rush comp for very obvious reasons. Hell, we might even see a shift from Juno Ana / Juno Kiri to Juno Lucio, because Juno herself can fill the role of Ana and Kiriko, healing at a range and then getting in and doing the dirty work when necessary. There's no surprise that we're seeing this D.Va Juno comp pop up more in OWCS because it's unstoppable. Even more so at this pro level because they're familiar with how to deal with counter picks and resource management and target focus and yada yada yada, you know, all that jazz. But is this purely because of Juno, or is it the fact that D.Va was already nuts without the aid of Juno? I think it's a bit of both, because even after the D.Va nerfs, this combo is still lethal, and, whilst slightly easier compared to the first half of the season, super annoying to deal with. Unless you're playing dive into this dive, you're not really going to go anywhere, because you need to secure the kills on the supports in the backline. But that just about does it for this video. Now, I know that this video turned a bit more into a D.Va Juno retrospective, but it's difficult not to talk about this combo because it highlights how absolutely insane Juno is. Not only is her damage and healing amazing, but she enables other heroes to reach new heights. Remember how people had a huge problem with Lucio because in some game modes it was absolutely paramount that you had a Lucio speed boosting you around the objective in order to win because max aggression equals win. This is like that, but a million times worse. You don't have to have a Juno on your team to win, but it definitely makes things a hell of a lot easier. especially in that ult, because good lord, I don't know what they were cooking, but they cooked. Anyways, thanks for watching. Once again, I'm going to ask you to like this video, as it lets me know that you find these videos not only to be helpful, but entertaining. Let me know what you think about Juno in the comments, because I'm interested in what you guys have to say about her. I feel like we don't really see all that much discourse around her, because the quote-unquote hype surrounding her has died down pretty massively. Finally, have a nice day or night if you're watching this at night, and make sure to check out my other videos. Not only will I appreciate it, but you might too.